On the news tonight, former House of Assembly Speaker Najim Salam emerges as governorship candidate of African Democratic Congress, ADC, as parties conclude primaries ahead of 2026 governorship election in Osun State. Supreme Court upholds power of the president to declare state of emergency in any state to prevent a breakdown of law and order. Former Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami, demands withdrawal of EFCC chairman from his ongoing investigation. On the foreign scene, Rwanda-backed rebels capture hundreds of Burundian soldiers during latest offensive in Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo. Good evening, this is News at 7 on Western Spring Television. My name is Okoyemuni. Former Speaker of the Osun State House of Assembly, Najim Salam, has emerged as a governorship candidate of the African Democratic Congress, ADC, for the 2026 Osun State election. Salam clinched the party's ticket after securing an overwhelming 520 votes at the ADC governorship primary held on Monday in Osogbo, the state capital. Announcing the results, Chairman of the ADC Primary Election Committee, Chukwuemeka Nwajuba, disclosed that 528 delegates were accredited and all cast their vote. Of this number, 8 votes were declared invalid, while 520 votes were valid and were all credited to Salam. Speaking during his acceptance speech, Salam pledged to offer responsible, compassionate, and purposeful leadership, declaring that Osun State must move away from what he described as politics of punishment and deprivation. He criticized what he described as years of poor political judgment and internal contradictions, particularly within the All Progressives Congress, APC, which he said weakened institutions and eroded public trust. He also condemned the withholding of local government allocations over legal disputes, describing it as collective punishment with dire consequences for workers, schools, and grassroots governance. In the meantime, Olanrewaju Farinloye has emerged the candidate of Action Alliance in the 2026 governorship election in Osun State. At the primary election held in Osogbo today, the Ilesha indigene was elected following a voice vote by party delegates. After the affirmation, Mr. Farinloye was declared winner of the exercise by the chairman of the Electoral Committee and National Secretary of the party, Vanibe James. In his address after his election, Mr. Farinloye promised to focus on ensuring better living standards for Osun residents. The governorship candidate also told journalists that with collaboration and adequate support, Action Alliance will be able to challenge other political parties at next year's polls. Following his election, Mr. Farinloye is expected to contest against other governorship candidates, including Governor Ademola Adeleke of Accord Party and Bola Oyebamiji of the All Progressives Congress, APC, among others.
By the power conferred on me as the chairman, Action Alliance Electoral Committee, and also the National Secretary of the party, on behalf of the National Chairman, undisputed National Chairman, Chief Barrister Kenneth Udeze, the National Executive Committee of the party, and the National Digital Committee of the party, I hereby present to you, His Excellency, this flag of victory from 2026 by the grace of God.
I understand we're not as massive as some of the other parties, but at the same time, you have numbers, but then again, you have communities, right? It's not about numbers. It's about collaboration, right? In terms of getting things done, it's about structure. It's about having accountability to your people. It's about policies that favor the people of the state. So I don't necessarily focus on numbers or whether the size of the party is large enough or not. But what I do know, and I do believe, thanks to the support of our party members, is we have both the knowledge, the know-how, the structures to be able to deliver good governance and rebuild and reshape our beloved state.
The Accord Party has dismissed as a charade the parallel governorship primary election in Osun State, saying the individuals involved are jokers and political nomads roaming the democratic space. Accord noted that the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has since disowned those described as political merchants, adding that the party will not dissipate energy responding to frivolities. It said the party's governorship candidate and incumbent governor of the state, Ademola Adeleke, is focused on delivering fruits of democracy to the good people of Osun State who have followed him to the party. The statement signed by Accord National Publicity Secretary Joseph Omorugbe added that the party welcomes numerous Nigerians who recently joined the party and those who have indicated interest to join. Meanwhile, to discuss the conduct and the outcome of the governorship primary election held across political parties in Osun State, we have joining us on the news tonight a public affairs analyst, Mr. Da Silva Olayinka. Thank you for being here.
Thank you very much for having me.
All right, to start with, how would you assess the overall conduct of the recent governorship primary elections across political parties in Osun State?
Yeah, once again, thank you very much for having me. Good evening, my esteemed viewers. You know, so far, the Osun State governorship primary election has been conducted across party lines. And then I can tell you that the one I witnessed today, which is Accord Party, I said I called Action Alliance. They had their own, but I was so surprised that the primary election was factionalized. They had two parallel primaries. They had two parallel
in the same party,
in the same political party. I was so shocked. I said, if we have a mushroom party like this, and they are having two parallel primaries, it's, you know, this it sounds very absurd as I'm concerned. If a smaller party of this nature, of this kind, cannot put its act together, and at the end of the day, if secondary election is conducted by INEC and the winner is announced, then the same party that could not put its house in order will be blaming INEC for not doing the right thing. If you as a small political party cannot do the needful, cannot do the right thing, I was so shocked because I observed their election that took place today. There was one conducted by one fashion, there was another one conducted by another fashion, and there was a commotion. There was a pandemonium.
Oh, but what do you think could be responsible for that?
You know, it has to do with leadership tussle. You know, these politicians, if you look at these politicians, you agree with me that they are only there for grabbing powers. They are not really there for the interests of Nigerians. Are you getting my point? Because I cannot just imagine a party that does not even have a structure across the 36 states, could not manage his party of that nature, and they will come up in 2027 and say they want to rule Nigeria. How would that possible? And at the end of the day, we'll be blaming INEC. So it means that most of the problem we are having today, in terms of our electoral discrepancies, electoral flaw, we cannot only put that blame on INEC alone. It's a shared responsibility. You understand? The political parties need to put their house in order. Look at what happened yesterday. There another election conducted by Accord. There was another parallel election after Adeleke has been declared as the governorship candidate of Accord last week, Wednesday, to be precise. Another one was conducted again. So it shows the Accord party is also fragmented. Are you getting it? is also fragmented. And if you recall where this governor is coming from PDP, because he felt that PDP has been fragmented. PDP
from the top.
Yes. You understand? Then he shifted, he decamped to Accord with the hope that Accord will be able to give him that hope. But we saw what happened yesterday. Another person was declared as the governorship candidate of Accord in person of Clement. What was his second name? I can't recollect. You know, that's to tell you that Accord as a party too has problem. Are you getting my point? They have problem in this state. And I don't think they have what it takes to rule Osun State as we speak. Because if you are having a primary election that is not transparent, that you are having different factions, different power tussles, how will you now govern Osun State in a proper direction? How will you give Osun hope? How will you rekindle their hope when you cannot put your house together as a political party? You understand? But the one I witnessed with APC, I must confess to you, the one I witnessed with APC was very, very, very perfect. There was a unanimous endorsement by those aspirants that were early disqualified. They unanimously agree. I was there. I witnessed all the primaries.
About APC now, if you're talking about APC, there are insinuations that APC may be the one actually fueling all these kind of crises within some other parties.
But let me tell you something. Can a thief invade your house without you or without an insider conniving with that thief? You understand? If the Accord, they were able to put their house together, there is no way APC will have a gut or temerity to infiltrate them or to cause confusion in their party. Are you getting my point? So if there are loopholes, you know, the enemy,
When you're talking about Osun State, sorry to cut you short. If you're talking about Osun State,
yes.
What about the national level? APC is doing the same thing, infiltrating PDP, and they've been able to cause one or two commotions there using the likes of Wiki.
You see, let's not be sentimental and emotional in this case. Let me tell you what happened. I have read PDP constitution. I have studied it. Are you getting my point? Now, what did the constitution say? The constitution says that congresses must be conducted before going into proper convention. Did the PDP do that? No. In Akwa Ibom, as I speak, no congress has been conducted. Cross River, the same thing. Another state like that. So they set up, PDP set up a reconciliatory committee headed by Saraki, the former Senate president. They were the one that to reconcile the aggrieved members so that there will be unity and cohesion among the party members. But at the end of the day, when Saraki submitted the report, what did they do? They discarded it. That the Congress should be conducted before going to proper election. And that was what Wike was saying. Why are you scared of conducting Congress? Why? So, and then you are now, is it the presidency that said they should not conduct their Congress before going to convention? Are you getting my point? So the PDP too need to understand that they are the opposition people are looking up to. Are you getting it? And they need, see, I'm an advocate of a viral opposition. Because democracy cannot thrive without having a vibrant and viral opposition.
So you don't believe in one party?
I don't believe, of course. I don't believe in one party. I want opposition to come up. But with the way they are doing, it shows that the opposition too are not ready. Like I have said in my opening remark, look at the way parties are fragmented here and there. And you now say,
but let's look at the defection of governors from different parties, PDP, from some parties to APC in recent times. Can't we say that, you know, it is an attempt to get to that level of one-party system in Nigeria?
Is this, you know, I've said this time without number. Even in Abuja, I've said it. You understand? The issue is PDP need to understand that they have a constitution, and the constitution is the grand norm. In every society, every every organization, there is a constitution. Even as we speak, there is a constitution that governs this place. This TV station, there is a constitution that governs this place. Are you getting my point? So when you don't follow the constitution, don't follow your guideline, then you are creating a room for problem, for anarchy. Are you getting my point? The PDP, you know, the problem they're having is being caused by themselves. By PDP members. They need to put their house together. Let them do the normal thing. Saraki even advised them. And don't forget, Saraki was not taking side. You know Saraki did not belong to Wike camp. No, Makide's camp. He's neutral. So for someone like that to come up with a report that you must conduct your congress before you go for proper convention. Why are they in the East? Why? Why can't they do the needful by conducting the Congress? That is what is stipulated in their constitution.
Oh, so let's look at what does the conduct of these primaries say about the state of democracy within political parties, and what lessons should political parties learn from this exercise?
Look, you know, like I said earlier, you know, so far I have witnessed accord governorship primary. I witnessed APC. I witnessed AAA. I witnessed which other party again? ADC today. You understand? But you know, I can tell you that the one of APC, I was so shocked that despite the disqualification of those 7 aspirants on Saturday, they were able to endorse Asiwaju Munirudin Oyebamiji. I was so shocked. It shows that there is unity in APC and they are ready for governance. The APC in Osun State, it shows that they are ready to take the leadership of the state. That's what it shows. Because the atmosphere was so peaceful, so transparent. There was unanimous endorsement. There was a political consensus. You understand? That tells you that the party is ready to take the banting of leadership of Osun State. Because when if you want to grab power, the aim of every political party is to grab power, to win election and grab power. But for you to do that, you must do the needful. You must make sure that you are well organized and well coordinated.
But look at
you understand? APC is coordinated. And I think you have to give it to their governorship candidate, because I was so sure the way it was managed to manage the aspirant.
But look at this coordination you talked about now. Is it not too early to say the likes of the likes of Omishore was not there on that day?
No, is it?
So it's not too early to just say that it seems there won't be any problem later. Like they are ready. They are fully ready.
Omishore, have you forgotten that Omishore released a report? Released a communique that he has endorsed.
Why was it not there?
Well, I cannot speak for him.
He wasn't there.
I'm not a spokesman. I cannot speak, but from the information available to me, I'm aware that Omishore has endorsed Asiwaju Munirudin Oyebamiji.
But why was he not there?
No, maybe, I don't know, maybe he was not feeling fine, or there was one or two things, or he was engaged with one or two things. But for the fact that he has released a communique and he has endorsed Asiwaju Munirudin Oyebamiji, the governorship candidate of APC, it shows that there is a unity and cohesion among the party leaders of APC.
All right, so what reforms would you recommend to improve future governorship primaries in Osun State?
You see, what I would recommend is that the politicians need to understand that it is God that gives power. It is God that gives power. We should not kill ourselves because we want to grab power. What happened today is a show of shame. As far as I'm concerned, at the AA governorship primary. It's a show of shame. Because there was a commotion. The youth leader and the other faction youth leader, they wanted to fight. It was police that had to intervene. You understand? So they should understand that it is God that gives power. They should make sure that they sensitize their people. There must be proper sensitization and orientation. People should not kill themselves because of political power. It doesn't worth it. If you actually want to serve the people, you don't need to kill yourself. It is the people that are supposed to, elect you. They should give you that free mandate. You understand? But a situation whereby you are fighting each other within the same political party and you say you want to win general election. How? Look at our accord, for instance. Yesterday, another... Me, I was even expecting that for Adeleke to have decamped, he must have done his own work perfectly. I never knew that there will be another fashion. Again, after, the primary that brought up Adeleke as the governor conducted on Wednesday, after like 4 or 5 days, another parallel primary election took place again. It shows that the governor in the state, he shows that he's weak. Let me use that word. He's weak because you must have done, you are the incumbent. You must have done the necessary thing before jumping to another party. So for you now to have different fashion in your party, what message do you want to pass to the people? People will tell you that you that cannot put your house together, and you are coming to tell us that you are going to give us hope in your second term. What kind of hope do you want to give us?
Thank you very much. I really appreciate you. We have been discussing with a public affairs analyst, Mr. Da Silva Olayinka, on the conduct and outcome.
Point of correction, I think Da Silva Said Olayinka.
Thank you very much, Mr. Da Silva Said Olayinka, a public affairs analyst.
Thank you.
And we've been talking about the conduct and the outcome of the governorship primary election held across political parties in Osun State. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you for having me. Thank you very much for having me.
Away from politics, the Judiciary Staff Union of Nigeria, JUSUN Osun State branch, has announced a temporary suspension of its ongoing industrial action. Suspension, according to a statement by Osun JUSUN chairman, Comrade Idris Adeniro, follows progress in resolving the dispute with the state judiciary management. The statement said the suspension was approved by the National Secretariat of JUSUN, led by National President Comrade Marwan Adamu, after consultations on developments recorded in negotiation between the union and relevant authorities. Adeniro also disclosed that the decision was unanimously endorsed by members at the Congress held at the High Court premises in Osogbo on Monday, December 15, 2025. It said the strike will be suspended with effect from December 16, 2025, to allow members to appear before the Judicial Service Commission for the 2024 promotion exercise, and also allow the management of the Osun State Judiciary to submit the list of officers due for promotion in 2025. The JUSUN chairman emphasized that the suspension of industrial action was temporary, explaining that it was intended to give room for the judiciary management to address outstanding issues and clear the backlog of work in courts across the state. The Supreme Court has upheld the power of the president to declare a state of emergency in any state to prevent a breakdown of law and order or degeneration into a state of chaos or anarchy. In a split decision of 6-1, the Apex Court held that the president, during a state of emergency, can suspend elected officials, but that such suspension of elected officials must be within a limited period. In the lead majority judgment, Justice Mohammed Idris held that Section 305 of the Constitution empowers the President to deploy extraordinary measures to restore normalcy where emergency rule is declared. Justice Idris noted Section 305 was not specific on the nature of extraordinary measures, thereby granting the President the discretion on how to go about it. The judgment was on the suit filed by Adamawa State and 10 other People's Democratic Party-led states challenging the propriety of a state of emergency declared by President Bola Tinubu on Rivers State, during which elected state officials, including Governor Siminalayi Fubara, were suspended for 6 months. However, Justice Obande Ogbunya dissented and held that the case succeeded in part. Among others, Justice Ogbunya held that although the president could declare a state of emergency, the president could not use such power as a tool to suspend elected state officials, including governors, deputy governors, and members of Parliament. Staying with judicial matters, Justice Miriam Aliyu Hassan of the High Court of the Federal Capital Territory, sitting at Gwarimpa in Abuja, has ordered that former Minister of Labour, Louis Ngige, be kept at Kuje Prison till December 18. Ngige will be on remand till the date when his bail application will be decided by the court. Justice Hassan issued the order on Monday shortly after taking arguments for and against the bail request of the former governor of Anambra State. Ngige's lawyer, Patrick Ikweto, pleaded with the judge to admit the former minister to bail, mainly on health ground. He submitted that the former minister would not jump bail or interfere with witnesses if admitted to bail. However, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, represented by Silvanus Tahir, vehemently opposed the bail request, insisting that Ngige was a flight risk. Ngige was last Friday slammed with an 8-count charge bordering on corrupt practices. Moving on, a former Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Abubakar Malami, has demanded the immediate recusal of the chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission from his ongoing investigation alleging bias, personal vendetta, and political persecution linked to his recent defection to the African Democratic Congress. In a strongly worded statement issued on Monday by his media aide, Mohammed Doka, Malami accused the EFCC of conducting what he described as an illegal detention, media harassment, and procedural abuse, insisting that the probe against him was not driven by law enforcement considerations, but by deep-seated historical animosity on the part of the EFCC leadership. The former Justice Minister anchored his claims on events dating back to his tenure as AGF, when the federal government constituted the Justice Ayosalami Judicial Commission of Inquiry to investigate allegations of corruption and abuse of office within the EFCC. Malami said that the current EFCC chairman served as secretary to the commission and that the Salami report, now in the public domain, contained adverse findings against him. In the meantime, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, has dismissed claims by some political actors that it is being weaponized to target opposition politicians, insisting that its operations are guided strictly by law and its statutory mandate to combat corruption. In a statement on its official X handle on Monday, the Commission described allegations of weaponization of the EFCC, erosion of EFCC's independence, and persecution of opposition politicians as a misrepresentation of its role in investigating and prosecuting economic and financial crime. According to the EFCC, its authority is derived solely from its Establishment Act, which mandates it to investigate and prosecute all forms of economic and financial crimes, with the only exception being political office holders enjoying constitutional immunity during their tenure. The anti-graft agency noted that arrests and prosecutions carried out in the last 2 years under the current leadership show that members of both the ruling and opposition parties have faced investigation. The EFCC said insinuations that it was selectively targeting the opposition were quite untenable, arguing that accountability should not be politicized. Elsewhere, the Nigerian Union of Journalists, Osun State Chapter, has inducted 6 esteemed personalities in the state into their Hall of Fame in recognition of their contributions in the society. The induction ceremony also featured discussions that centered on democracy, good governance, security, and economic prosperity. There is a report.
Osun State Council on Wednesday had its 2025 edition of the NUJ Hall of Fame. The 2-part program featured discussions as well as the induction of distinguished personalities into the Union's Hall of Fame. The inductees include His Royal Majesty Oba Abdulwahid Adekunle, the 16th Elende of Ikoinde land, Chief Remi Oyeyemi, the Babagunwa of Imobi-Jesha, Are Jagomolu of Omo Kingdom, as well as the Chairman of the Board of Management of Uniosun Teaching Hospital Shogbo, Right Honorable Niyi Owolade. Also, Barrister Hashim Abioye, the Chairman of Osun State Independent Electoral Commission, OSIEC, Engineer Sahid Ganiyu, a member of Nigerian Society of Engineers, and Mr. Ismail Omikmedan, a distinguished journalist and former Chief Press Secretary to Osun State Governor, were among the inductees. Speaking at the occasion, the NUJ Chairman, Osun Council, Comrade Wasiu Ajadoshu, explained why they were chosen to be inducted into the NUJ Hall of Fame, noting that the inductees must be persons of reputable character in the society.
These inductees are very special people. These are the people that have accomplished in their choosing professions. They have contributed significantly to the society.
Meanwhile, the program also had Prince Komi Ademiluyi, a public affairs analyst, deliver a lecture on issues in Nigeria and how important it is to reinvent a proper federal system. He spoke on going back to the foundational defects and finding solutions to them, arguing that Nigeria has deeply retrogressed since independence.
We go back to the foundational defect which haunts this country today. We're not fighting conventional warfare in Nigeria. We're fighting an asymmetrical warfare. Unfortunately for this country, and we have to accept a very unpleasant reality, we are facing asymmetrical warfare, guerrilla warfare, with a conventional army.
Speaking to the spike in kidnappings, Prince Ademiluyi advocated a review of the nation's defense budget to better combat insurgency and such that its implementation mechanisms are transparent.
The budget for defense has continued to rise every year, going back some 12, 14 years. Now you ask yourself, what has been the cost benefit of the continuing rise in defense budget? There's still high rate of kidnappers, 240 children are still under kidnapping. It's one incident per day. That means that you are now involved in a never-ending crisis because you do not have the parliamentary oversight to actually look at your defense budget. So your defense budget has now become, like President Eisenhower warned in 1959, your defense budget itself has now become fuel for insurgency. People who are making terrific returns on investment are not going to want to see an end to a conflict.
He also called on the media to hold the government accountable to this. The chairman of the occasion, Mr. Smollett Shitualamu, in his opening remarks, explained the significance of the Hall of Fame and what it represents. He described the induction as more than mere ceremony. The newly inducted members expressed their gratitude to the Nigerian Union of Journalists, Osun State Council, for honoring them with the Hall of Fame and also appreciated well-wishers who came out to support them.
President Bola Tinubu on Monday reaffirmed his administration's commitment to the welfare, professionalism, and operational effectiveness of the Nigerian Army. President Tinubu, who was represented by Vice President Kashim Shettima, said that these are the opening of a Chief of Army Staff Annual Conference 2025 in Lagos. The conference, a key annual forum for senior military leadership, brings together serving and retired commanders to review operational realities, interrogate strategy, and reposition the Nigerian Army to confront evolving national, regional, and global security threats. According to a statement signed by the Acting Director, Army Public Relations, Colonel Apollonia Anelli, the President described the convergence of elder statesmen, former service chiefs, and senior officers as a living testament to the Nigerian Army's enduring heritage, discipline, and fighting spirit. President Tinubu paid tribute to serving and retired officers whose sacrifices and leadership have shaped the Army across generations, commending troops who consistently place national duty above personal comfort in defense of Nigeria's unity and territorial integrity. Also speaking at the opening ceremony, the Minister of Defense, retired General Christopher Musa, described the conference as a vital strategic forum for reviewing operational posture, assessing readiness, and aligning the Nigerian Army's future direction with national security priorities. In his welcome address, the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Waidi Shaibu, expressed appreciation to the President for sustained political will and strategic support, particularly in personnel welfare, equipment modernization, training, and institutional reform. Still to come, El-Rufai dismisses viral claim alleging that he stated which region should produce a president in 2027. We'll bring you more on these when we return.